Artificial intelligence. It's the new shiny thing everyone is talking about, isn't it? We're told it will cure diseases, solve climate change, and even write your nephew's dreadful college application essay, probably with more enthusiasm than you could muster. The promises are dazzling, painting a future where our hardest problems are solved by brilliant thinking machines. Tech CEOs stand on stages in identical black turtlenecks, selling us a utopia powered by algorithms. They promise efficiency, progress, and a world where everything is easier. But like most things that sound too good to be true, from all-you-can-eat shrimp to a politician's campaign promise, there's a catch, a very, very big catch. The problem starts with the simple fact that AI is not a magical cloud. It's a physical thing, and it's incredibly hungry. Training a single large AI model, just one, can use as much electricity as hundreds of homes consume in an entire year. Think about that. While you're being told to switch to LED bulbs, massive data centers are chugging down energy like a frat boy at an open bar. These server farms, the physical homes of AI, require constant cooling, which means they also gulp down enormous amounts of fresh water. In some cases, a single data center can use as much water as a small city, often in areas already suffering from droughts. So, the next time an app generates a silly picture of your cat as an astronaut, remember it probably used more water than you'll drink all week. And it gets worse, because of course it does. Building the hardware for AI, the powerful computer chips and processors, requires a whole host of rare earth minerals. Materials like cobalt, lithium, and neodymium are essential. And where do we get them? They are often mined in developing countries under horrific labor conditions, causing devastating environmental damage and fueling conflicts. So the sleek, futuristic AI tool on your phone has a supply chain that can lead directly back to polluted rivers and exploited workers. It's the global equivalent of finding out your lovely organic kale was grown using puppy tears as fertilizer. The clean digital world of AI is built upon a very dirty, very real foundation of extraction and pollution. So, while we are promised a clean, efficient future, the reality is that AI is one of the most resource-intensive technologies ever created. Its environmental footprint is massive and growing at an alarming rate. The promise of a digital solution to our physical problems conveniently ignores that the digital world has a very physical and very damaging cost. It's a classic bait and switch. We are sold a vision of a weightless virtual paradise, but what we are actually buying is more carbon emissions, more water consumption, and more environmental degradation. It's less of a technological revolution and more of a planet-sized invoice that someone eventually will have to pay. When confronted with these inconvenient truths, the powerful players behind AI have a very predictable playbook. Step 1. Deny and deflect. Tech companies will publish glossy sustainability reports filled with pictures of solar panels and happy trees while quietly building more energy-guzzling data centers. They'll talk about carbon offsets, which is the corporate equivalent of eating a whole cake and then paying someone in another country to skip dessert on your behalf. It's a shell game designed to hide the true cost. They might also blame consumers, suggesting that if we just used AI more responsibly, the problem would solve itself, which is frankly insulting. Governments are often just as bad, if not worse. They are so desperate not to be left behind in the great AI race that they roll out the red carpet for tech giants. They offer massive tax breaks and subsidies for companies to build those water-guzzling data centers, essentially paying corporations to drain local resources. When citizens complain about the noise, the energy use, or the environmental impact, officials often shrug and say their hands are tied. They talk about the importance of innovation and job creation, even if the jobs are few and the environmental costs are high. It's a stunning abdication of responsibility where protecting the public good comes a distant second to chasing technological prestige. This strategy of avoiding responsibility is all about shifting the costs. The corporations get the profits from AI, and the public gets the bill in the form of a strained power grid, depleted water sources, and a damaged environment. It's a system where the benefits are privatized, but the consequences are socialized. And it's a brilliant trick if you can get away with it. They create a narrative that AI is an unstoppable force of nature, like a hurricane or a new season of a reality TV show you can't escape. By framing it as inevitable, they discourage us from asking the hard questions about whether we actually want or need all of this in the first place. Ultimately, this blame game creates a smokescreen that prevents any real conversation about the direction we are heading. Instead of debating whether we should be building these systems at all, we are stuck arguing about where the next data center should be built. The powerful actors who benefit from this arrangement, the tech billionaires, the defense contractors, the politicians basking in reflected glory, are perfectly happy to let us bicker over the details. Because as long as we are distracted, they can continue to build a future that serves their interests while telling us it's all for our own good. It's a masterful piece of misdirection, and we are all the audience. Here is perhaps the most disturbing part of the entire situation. The people building and promoting this technology are not necessarily planning for it to save us all. In fact, many of the plans being developed by powerful elites and governments seem less focused on preventing a global crisis and more focused on how to best survive one. They are looking at the mounting environmental and social pressures, exacerbated by technologies like AI, and are quietly building lifeboats for themselves. The strategy is not to stop the ship from sinking. It's to make sure the first-class passengers have a comfortable escape pod with champagne and Wi-Fi. This mindset is visible in the push for so-called smart cities and highly controlled, technologically managed enclaves. On the surface, these projects are sold as models of efficiency and sustainability. But look closer, and they often resemble high-tech fortresses. They are designed with pervasive surveillance, biometric tracking, and AI-powered control systems. The goal is to manage populations and resources with ruthless efficiency, which sounds great until you realize you're one of the resources being managed. These aren't plans for a more democratic and equal society. They are blueprints for a world where a select few can maintain their standard of living by tightly controlling everyone else. The ultimate expression of this is the bunker mentality that has become shockingly popular among the Silicon Valley elite. Tech billionaires are buying up vast tracts of land in remote places like New Zealand, building luxury underground bunkers complete with air filtration systems and private security forces. They see a societal collapse not as a tragedy to be averted, but as an event to be weathered in comfort. They are using the immense wealth generated by the current system, a system whose unsustainability they are helping to accelerate with things like AI, to buy their way out of the consequences. It is a profound and deeply cynical betrayal of the public trust. What this reveals is a terrifying lack of faith in a shared future. The message is clear. The plan is not to fix the problems, but to escape them. For the rest of us, who can't afford a private island or a doomsday bunker, the future looks very different. We are the ones who will be left to deal with the ecological fallout, the resource shortages, and the social instability. The focus on post-collapse survival by the very people with the power to prevent it is perhaps the most damning indictment of the entire system. They are building a world that they themselves do not want to live in. If things continue down this path, we face two very bleak potential futures. The first is the one the elites are planning for, a world of hyper-centralized control. Imagine a society managed by AI, where every transaction, every movement, and every interaction is monitored and optimized for efficiency and security. Dissent would be algorithmically flagged, and access to resources, jobs, housing, even food, could be granted or denied based on a social credit score. It's a future of perfect, sterile order, but it's an order that comes at the cost of freedom, autonomy, and human dignity. This is the world of the smart city fortress, where the powerful live in comfort and the rest of us live under constant, automated supervision. The second path is one of systemic breakdown. This is the future that the bunkers are for. In this scenario, the strain on our energy, water, and environmental systems becomes too great, leading to a cascading failure of global infrastructure. Supply chains collapse, power grids fail, and centralized governments lose their ability to function. What emerges from the wreckage is a world of fragmented, localized communities struggling to survive. This isn't a romantic return to the land. It's a desperate scramble for basic necessities in a world poisoned by the excesses of the past. It's a future of immense hardship and uncertainty, where the promises of AI have dissolved into a fight for clean water. The crucial point here is that neither of these futures is good. They are two sides of the same coin of failure. And artificial intelligence, far from being our savior, is acting as a powerful accelerant toward this fork in the road. It concentrates power in the hands of those who would build the control state, and its massive resource consumption hastens the journey towards ecological collapse. AI is not solving our most fundamental problems of inequality, overconsumption, and environmental destruction. In most cases, it is making them demonstrably worse by amplifying the power of those who benefit from the status quo. So when you hear about the next great AI breakthrough, it is essential to ask the simple, critical questions. Who does this technology truly serve? Who is profiting and who is paying the price? Is this making our world more equitable and sustainable, or is it simply a more efficient way to extract resources and consolidate control? Artificial intelligence is not a neutral tool. It is a reflection of the values and priorities of those who create and wield it. Right now, it is primarily a tool for the powerful, and it is leading us toward a future that none of us should want.